What's up, guys? It's your boy Dark Sage, back with another video. And today we're gonna be doing what if Deku was the god of destruction / creation, part 2. But before we get into the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, because it'll help young dude out. But we won't talk about that. So let's get into the video. We start this video off with Deku waking up after destroying Overhaul. And Deku right now is in his fucking god of destruction form. And Aries like, wow, what is this power? It's even stronger than Rewind. And Deku wakes up and he looks at Eri. And he says, who are you? And Aries says, my name is Eri. And Deku says, well then, my name is Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you. And he says, we should probably get out of this weather, because it's raining and whatnot. And so they go to a hotel, and they go to sleep. Fast forward 1 month later, and they already know everything about each other. Deku has been trying to form a bond with Eri, but she was nervous at first until she realized what type of person Deku was. He was a nice and generous person. He could be scary sometimes when people disrespected him or tried to do him wrong, but other than that, he was pretty nice. And so, after that month goes by, Eri runs up to Deku and she says, hi, Papa. And Deku blushes hard as shit. And he's like, Papa, hold on. Where did this come from? Bro. And Eri says, well, I mean, you're more of a dad than anyone. And Deku's like, well then, okay. And he picks up Eri, and fucking they go home. Deku is basically, when they get home, Deku goes in and he puts Eri fucking down on the bed because it's nighttime. And Deku's like, damn, she really caught me, Papa. Oh damn. And Deku's thinking about that, but he's also thinking about the UA entrance exam. He knows it's tomorrow, but he's thinking that Eri will have to come with him. And so, fast forward the next day, Eri and Deku, they set off. Shit. They go to UA. They get to UA High School. And Deku's like, Eri, we're finally here. UA High School. Well, I'm gonna get in, and I'm gonna bring you with me. And Eri says, okay, Papa. And they walk in, and everybody is staring at them. Well, shit. They're staring at the both of them, because they all recognize Izuku. They're like, isn't that quirkless loser? And everybody starts laughing at him as soon as they get in. And Eri's like, don't laugh at my Papa. He's the best man on this planet. And they're all like, hey, get away from him. He's a quirkless loser. And Eri's like, no, he's not. He's And Deku's like, shh, don't say anything to these fools. They'll all see my power. But once they get in, Deku fucking aces. And I do mean aces the written exam. He's even correcting Nezu. He's like, fuck out of here, fucking rat-ass, bitch-ass, hoe-ass boy. And then they get to the practical exam. And President Mike is explaining all of the rules. And fucking Deku sees Izumi and Bakugo holding hands. And Deku walks over to them. And Izumi is shocked, because she hasn't seen the fucking quirkless loser in over a month. She thought he was dead. I mean, nobody would really give a fuck. So she looks at Deku and she tries to burn him right off rip. And Deku says, disappear. And the whole flame she was sending at Deku disappears. And she's like, what happened? Where'd the flame go? It was gonna... She was like, damn it, a fluke? And Bakugo's like, well, I'm not having this. And he comes up from behind Deku. And Present Mike, he doesn't see none of this shit. He I'm getting angry. He doesn't see any of this. And Bakugo explodes Deku's back. Eri seeing this would run to her father's defense. As soon as Bakugo tried to hit Deku with another explosion, fucking Eri jumped in the way and was hit by one of the explosions. And Deku looks at Eri's back. And there's a hole in it. And Eri's on the ground bleeding out. And everybody sees this. And they're like, Bakugo, what did you just do? And he says, it wasn't me. It was that quirkless loser. It's his fault. And everybody looks at Midoriya. And Midoriya grabs Eri. And while she's bleeding out, she looks at her father and says, well, Papa, thanks for letting me have a good life while it lasted. And Eri draws her final breath. And Deku cries. But this isn't any regular crying. Everybody can feel an immense power off of Deku. And he turns into his god of destruction / creation form. And he looks at Bakugo. And then he looks back at Eri and says, resurrection. And Eri, she's healed. And she gets back up. He's like, what the hell? I thought I was dead. And Deku says, Eri, what did you see on the other side? It was really dark. But then I saw a light. And I also saw a fairy. And Izuku says, good. At least she took care of you. And Eri is thinking to herself, wait, what? Took care of me? I died. But everybody is astounded that Deku has taken this new form. And Deku slowly walks over to Bakugo and puts his hand on his shoulder and says, Bakugo, with destruction comes creation, and vice versa. So, I'll destroy you and create a new you. And fucking Bakugo's body, it starts deteriorating. And everybody is in shock. And remember, they're still at UA. So, the teachers, they're calling for All Might. And All Might pulls up and hits Deku in the face with a Detroit smash. And Deku goes flying. And everybody is cheering because they think, shit, Deku should be dead after that. And All Might is like, damn brat. He thinks he can just come here and start causing problems? And Deku gets out of the fucking crater relatively unharmed. And Eri's like, Papa! And she runs over to him. And Deku says, well then, Snowball, I want you to get inside of here. And he forms a huge box. Think of it as like the perfect cube that Merlin can create. And Eri gets inside, and Deku says, well then, I'm like, or should I say, father? And everybody like, hold on, wait a minute, father? What is this nigga talking about? And Deku, he ain't gonna say father. He says, let's go, All Might, shall we? And All Might looks at Deku and he says, Deku! And he runs towards him. And he fucking United States of smashes Deku. And Deku grabs his fist. And he says, wow, did you really think that would hurt me? And he crushes All Might's hand. And then kicks him in the stomach. And All Might is on the ground, coughing up blood. And then Deku walks over to All Might. And he says, This will end your life. And this is when that nigga Nezu come out. And he say, wait, hold on. And Deku says, what? And fucking Nezu says, you pass. And Deku says, well, what are you talking about? I haven't even taken the rest of the test. And fucking Nezu says, well, I mean, if you can be All Might, then I guess you're the strongest one here, aren't you? And Deku says, damn right, but I haven't gotten control of my power. And as he says this, his eyes start dimming, but nobody notices. And Deku says, well then, if I agree to if I agree to not kill All Might and to come to UA, I would want 3 things. And fucking Nezu says, what do you want? And Deku says, number 1, I would want a free place to live. Number 2, tons of food. And number 3, I want a whole bunch of books, toys, fucking candy, and video games for Eri. And Nezu agrees to all of this. And Deku says, well then, I'll spare the bastard's life. And then he passes out. And everybody is shocked. Because, I mean, this nigga Deku just almost murked All Might. And they're like, whoa, what the hell is this kid? My bad, y'all. I'm back. I had to talk to the females. But we won't talk about that. So, yeah. After Deku fucking agrees to, well, after Nezu agrees to Deku's terms, Deku passes out, and he's taken to his room, and so is Eri. I mean, fucking All Might still wants to torture the shit out of him, which he will, in due time. But, yeah. So, after the test, Deku wakes up, and Deku says, wow, I really fucked him up good, didn't I? And he's laughing to himself. And he's like, the bastard got what he deserved after all of this time. Wow. And so Deku, he gets Eri and says, Eri, you wanna play some video games? And Eri says, sure. And so they spend the whole day eating and playing video games. And after about a month, Deku basically, he gets the acceptance letter and he starts school the next day. Deku ends up taking Eri with him. Because, like, she's 6 years old. And Eri and Deku, they're fucking sitting in the same chair. Because, I mean, where the fuck else would she sit? And so, everybody is walking in, shit, they're looking at Deku and Eri, and they're like, isn't that kid who fucked All Might? and Bakugo, he walks in, and he's like, damn Deku! And he immediately runs over to Deku, and he shoots an explosion. But this explosion was gonna hit Eri. So Deku's like, bro, disappear. And he hasn't even used his creation magic yet. well, his creation powers, he's only been using fucking words. So the explosion disappears, and fucking Bakugo's like, "What the hell? What'd you do to my explosion, you damn bastard?" And Deku gets up and says, "Well then, if that's the way it's gonna be." And he creates a knife. And he says, "Eri, please close your eyes." And Eri closes her eyes. And Deku jams the knife into Bakugo's stomach. And he snaps his neck. And everybody's in horror. Because they're like, what the fuck? What the hell? No, this nigga, he's on X Games mode. Somebody please get him. And so, they're like, this nigga a demon. And then he says, resurrection. And Bakugo comes back to life. And he's gasping and breathing for air. And he's like, you demon! What did you do to me? And Deku says, oh, nothing. Now tell me, what did you see? I saw red fire. And Deku says, well then, that's nice. Seems as if you've got what you deserved. You went to hell. You deserved it though. Should I kill you and let you go back? Or should I keep you alive? Hard to choose. And Eri says, Papa, leave him alone. And everybody says, wait, Papa? This nigga only 14. And Deku says, well, alright then, Eri. And he basically sits back down with Eri. And Aizawa wakes up and he's like, alright, y'all, shut the fuck up. And they all shut up. And they do the physical exam. So Deku, he gets changed. And they all see this nigga's bulging muscles. And they're like, oh yeah. He on X Games mode. He's definitely on X Games mode now. This nigga was raised on steroids and milk. Somebody, get him. And so Deku gets changed. And he goes outside. Everybody there is waiting. And Aizawa says, Deku, since you got the highest score, come throw this ball without your quirk. And Deku says, bet that up. And Deku don't got a quirk. So he's like, I don't got a fucking quirk, nigga. And Aizawa's like, hold on, what you mean? I have power. I just don't have a quirk. And Aizawa says, well then, throw this ball without your power. And so Deku powers down, and he goes back to this form. And Eri says, Papa, do your best. And Deku's like, bet that up. And he launches that ball. That shit go like, I'm gonna give him a smooth 1,000 meters. And everybody like, he cheated. Everybody says, Aizawa's, he told you not to use your quirk. And Deku's like, who said I used a quirk? And everybody's looking like, yeah, we can't compare. Fuck life. Fuck him. Fuck this. I give up on life. And so Deku then uses his quirk and sends the ball to a different reality. And it says error on the machine. So as I was like, alright, you got infinite. And pretty much Deku basically gets first in everything except the ball throw. Because, fuck Uraraka. And so they go back in. And Deku basically is like, alright, Eri, we're dipping. And they leave. Fast forward a day. And Deku is in his room. He's with the fairy right now. And the fairy is teaching him how to control his power. Because at this point, this nigga Deku can only use the words. And that's limited. So he can only use, I'd say, 5%. And so the fairy, she's training this nigga Deku. And she's evil. This bitch. She's like, give me 10 million push-ups, 10 million squats, 10 million sit-ups, and then right 5 trillion laps. And Deku looks at her with a puzzled face and says, how the fuck am I gonna do that? And the fairy said, oh, you can use your god form. And Deku says, well, that's almost too easy. And the fairy says, not with these on. And she drops 10,000 pound weights. And Deku attaches them to his legs and arms. And, well, shit, he gets going. And at this time, Eri is sleeping. And so is Deku, basically. And somebody creeps into their room. I'm not gonna let y'all know who this nigga is, because I don't really care. So, somebody sneaks into their room. And they inject Deku. And the fairy sees this. And the fairy says, well then, he really is gonna become a god of destruction, that is. And Deku wakes up in an all-white room. And he's chained to a wall. And All Might comes in. And he says, well, hey there, Izuku. And Deku says, All Might, where am I? And All Might says, you remember when you broke my hand? You damn villain. I have some people that want to say hi. And he basically lets Bakugo, fucking Izumi, and Inko come in. And they're all using their quirks on Deku. And they're basically torturing him. Bakugo's exploding Deku. Izumi's burning Deku's body to basically a crisp. And Inko's levitating knives towards him. And Deku's body, it's scarred up. And hold on, I'm gonna show you what this nigga body look like. Hold on. Yeah, but this is basically what Deku looks like. And his body is all scarred up and bruised. He's not even speaking. He's not fazed by this. Because he's in his mindscape. After like the first day of being tortured, Deku went to his mindscape. And he's been training there. But Deku, he can still feel the pain. And it's pissing him off. And so Deku, once he's done with this training, and he's mastered 50% of his power, he wakes up. And Deku's body is basically nothing but cuts. And burns and bruises and whatever painful thing you can think of, that's what that Deku has on his body. And he says, where's Eri? And Bakugo says, that little slut? Oh, we sent her back to the orphanage. And this enrages Deku. And he gets up. Well, stands up. And rips the chains from the wall. And he says, well then, young Eri, I'm coming for you. And Deku is walking. He's shaking because, this nigga's body isn't in good shape. He's shaking and everybody's looking at him in an astounding way. Because this nigga shouldn't be able to even move. He should be dead, basically. But Deku says, Eri, I'm coming. And he walks out with fucking no shirt on. And Izumi says, where do you think you're going? And she sends fire towards Deku's back. And she burns it. And Deku, he doesn't even care. He's still walking. And then he disappears. And he reappears at the fucking orphanage. And he says, Eri. And Eri turns around. And she sees this. And she's like, Papa! What did they do to you? Who did this? And she runs up to Deku and hugs him. And Deku says, don't worry about it. I'm fine. She says, no, you're not. Look at you. And she's crying on him. And everybody in the orphanage is basically looking at Deku, and they're trying to help him out. But Deku's like, I'm fine. It's okay. And people with healing cards are like, please, sir, let me heal you. And Deku says, I'm fine. And the fairy says, well, I told you guys he'd become a destroyer. And so Deku says, I'm fine. And an immense pressure comes upon everybody in the room except for Eri. And they all fall to the ground. And they're like, what the hell is this? And Deku is basically crushing them. And everybody is screaming. And then he releases it. And he says, well then, I'll be leaving. Sorry, my brother came in barging in my room like the dumb idiot he is. But, yeah. Deku says, I'm leaving and I'm taking the girl with me. And Eri says, Papa. And Deku adopts Eri. And so now they're an official family. And Deku basically, he walks back to the campus. And all the kids are there. And I'm like, oh my god, who is that? And Nezu's like, what the hell? Who did this to him? And Deku looks at Nezu. And Nezu's like, Midoriya! And Deku falls on the ground because he can't walk anymore. And they immediately take Deku to Recovery Girl. And she's basically doing all that she can. And she's like, I don't think he's gonna make it. And Eri starts crying and says, my papa will make it. I know it. And Deku says, who said I was gonna die? And Deku, they all look at Deku. And Deku says, I'll be reverting to my original form from now on. And they say, original form? What does he mean? And all of Deku's cuts transfer over to this body. Which is why he has all these cracks and fucking holes in his body. But I mean, he looks sexy. No homo. But he looks sexy. So, they all look at this. And Eri's like, wow. I've only seen this form twice. But it's amazing. And fucking, they're all like, how can he do this? What is this power? And for the fucking plot, Deku's gonna kill his family. I assure you. They're all gonna die. Bakugo, Izumi, Ingo, and All Might. They're all going to die. But, yeah. Not right now, though. Because, like, plot. But, Deku feels no pain. And he gets up and says, Eri, come give your papa a hug. And Eri runs over to Deku as fast as she can. And she hugs Deku. And Eri's crying in Deku's arms. And Deku sheds one tear. And then he says, I'll never cry again. And he gets up and says, thank you, Nezu, and Recovery Girl. I don't think I could have fucking survived this long if you guys didn't heal me. So thank you. And Nezu and Recovery Girl said, no problem. And so Deku and Eri go home. And they fucking go to sleep. Shit. So the next day, Deku goes to Nezu's office because Eri's still sleeping. And Deku looks at him and says, you know who did this to me, don't you? And fucking Nezu says, unfortunately, yes, I do. I'm sorry, it's partially my fault. And then Deku says, what do you mean? Your father, or All Might, he told me to give him the key to your room because you were locked out. I didn't know it was this bad. I'm sorry. And fucking Deku says, it's not your fault. And he says, you know I will have to kill All Might, right? And fucking Nezu says, wait, what? Kill him. Do you not see my body? And fucking Nezu says, but he's the symbol of peace. And Deku says, that's why I'll give him a little bit of time. When he gets injured again, I'm going to kill him. And that goes for the rest of my family. And that poor sap Bakugo. He's been causing me a lot of problems lately. And so Deku looks at Nezu and he smiles and says, well, at least you get to keep your life, right? And Nezu, he laughs fucking nervously. And Deku leaves. Deku goes to class and all the kids see Deku's new form. And they're like, damn. All the girls are like, damn, that nigga's sexy. No homo though. But that nigga's sexy. Hold on. I need me a little taste. And Kirishima sees him and is like, damn, man, those scars are manly. And he's like, you want to arm wrestle? And Deku says, sure. And so they arm wrestle. And Kirishima gets his arm slammed through the table. And this is when Aizawa wakes up and says, alright, settle down. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. He shouldn't have those bruises and cuts on him, now should he? Well, he thinks this to himself. And then he says, settle down. Everybody, please take your seats. And he says, we're going to be going to the USJ. And everybody's cheering. They're like, I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome. And fucking Eraserhead says it's for hero training. And so they're all cheering. And fast forward a day, they get on the bus to go to the USJ. Once they get there, the 13 comes by and says, well then, let's get going, shall we? And she's explaining to them all the exhibits and the sites that they'll be training in. And Kirishima says, wow, this place is amazing. They even have real villains. And they fucking say, wait, hold on, real villains? Yeah, we ain't got that type of money. Well, fake villains, we ain't got that type of money. And they look behind them, and they see a portal. And fucking, what's the name? Kirigiri. Kirigiri comes out, and Shigaraki comes out, and they're like, get the girl. Go, Nomu. And Nomu blitzes towards Eri. And he grabs Eri, and then tries to run back to Shigaraki. But Deku not having this, and he says, well then, you'll be facing me, won't you? And Deku grabs the Nomu by the head and starts punching it relentlessly. And I do mean like at least 20 punches a second. And the Nomu, it can't even move. Deku is pounding its skull in, and there's blood everywhere. And everybody's like, Dad, stop! Stop! And Izuku says, honey, I'll have to kill it. So please close your eyes. And Deku, well, fucking Eri closes her eyes. And she covers her ears. And Deku's going to work on this Nomu. He kicked it in the air and hit this nigga with... He creates a spear and throws it through the Nomu's chest. And when the Nomu falls back down, Deku creates a hammer and starts smashing its head in. And the Nomu is screaming in pain. And Shigaraki says, I thought you had shock absorption, you damn Nomu. And Deku said he did. I just took it away. And they're all looking at Deku in fear. Everybody's like, we gotta get out of here. We gotta go. All the villains are like, we gotta go. We can't stay here. He's evil. And Deku says, damn right I am. And he grabs Shigaraki's face. And he starts crushing it. And this is when All Might shows up. Because Iza still went to go get All Might. But All Might shows up. And he says, I am here. And Deku sees this. And he lets Shigaraki go. And he slowly walks towards All Might. And says, bow to me. And All Might falls to his knees. And he's like, what is this? Why can't I get up? And Deku says, I will kill you, your daughter, your fucking wife, and that damn brat, Bakugo. But don't tell them I said this, or I'll have to kill you first. And fucking Deku walks off after saying this, and he says, come on, Eri. We'll let the pro hero handle the rest of this. And Shigaraki and Kirigiri get Dabi, Toga, and that's it. And they dip. And shit. Deku and Eri, they leave to go get ice cream. But that's gonna be the end of part 2. Hope you guys liked it. Please comment and subscribe. Bye.